If you're looking to buy a house, this is going to be the video for you. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've bought one in the past, there may be some tips in this video that you didn't think about that can really help improve your home buying process and help you get a great deal, help the process go along smoothly. I bought this house in 2019 and I learned a lot along the way of buying a house that I wish I knew going into it. So today I'm sharing 10 tips on things that you need to do and know before buying a house. Number one is know your credit score. You need to know your credit score going in because your credit is really going to pay a big difference in the type of loan that you can get, number one, and also how bad your interest rate is going to be. Is it going to be really high? That can really affect the payments that you're going to have and how much house you can afford. If you have a low credit score and your payments are going to be higher because of the interest rate, then that's less house that you can buy. So you need to know your credit score going in. If you don't know your credit score, I have a free tool down below in the description box that will help you get your credit score for free, and it's something that you should honestly check regularly. I check my credit score once a month, once every other month, just to make sure I'm staying on top of it, to make sure there's no new hits on my credit score, and to make sure that it is going up, up, up. And that is super, super important. Number two is sit down and make a budget. Know how much you can afford. Know how much your monthly payment is going to be and how much you can afford each month for your mortgage. Now, your mortgage is going to be a lot different than a rent payment. A rent payment is just rent. That's it. A mortgage is going to entail a lot more than just your rent. It's also going to entail taxes and insurance and also house upkeep and a higher electric bill, most likely, a water bill that you may not be paying, sewer and trash that you may not be paying. So there's a lot more bills that go into owning a house, lawn maintenance, a lot more bills that go into owning a house than it is when you rent. So you need to take all of that into consideration and not just the straight mortgage payment to the principal versus your rent payment. They're very, very different, and a lot of people overlook that. So sit down and create a budget. Figure out how much you can afford each month, and you want it to be below 25% of your monthly take-home pay. Ideally, that is your ideal hotspot for where you want to be in your mortgage, and under 25% take-home pay. Now, I do understand that there's higher cost of living areas. There's places like LA, there's places like New York City that are really, really high cost living. Then there's places in the country like West Virginia, Alabama, that it's low cost of living. I have friends that have a mortgage of like $600 a month for their house, and I'm like, holy cow, that is crazy, absolutely crazy. Our mortgage is $2,080 a month. We live in South Florida. Cost of living is a little bit higher than the average of the country down here, but it isn't like LA, it isn't like New York City as well. So know what you can afford. Sit down, create a budget. If you don't have a budget, I really, really recommend getting on a budget. It's something that you should have regardless of buying a house or not buying a house. If you don't have one, I do have a spreadsheet template for you guys if you do want that. I have it in Google Sheets and Excel, and then I also have monthly printables for you if you are a pen and paper type of person, whether you want to budget by paycheck or budget by monthly. I have that down below for you. Then I also have printables if you are wanting to track your saving for a down payment. So if you're in the process right now and saving for a down payment, I have a printable for you as well, which is super fun, just to be able to color it and visually see your progress and be like, all right, we're making a lot of progress, or oh man, we got to step up our game. We got to start saving a lot more money so that we can get into the house that we want. Number three is to get a pre-approval letter before you go out shopping. Now, this has changed a lot in the past couple of years because before you were able to go out and kind of looking around houses, kind of get your feel of what you like, and then go and ask for a pre-approval letter once you find a house that you like. Now, with the competitive market that it is, that's not the case anymore. You need to have that pre-approval letter beforehand so that if you find a house that you like, you can jump on it, you can go and get it and put in your offer. And you're going to need that pre-approval letter before you can put in your offer. It needs to go with the offer as a pre-approval. So have a pre-approval letter and know how much you're pre-approved for, how much qualifies with your bank or with the mortgage broker that you choose to go with. Number four goes back with number two, and that is know the expenses of the houses that you're looking at. So know the expenses of what's the typical water bill? What's the typical electric bill for this house? Maybe it's a lot more. Our electric bill is 3 times higher here in the house than it was at our apartment. And it's not that much bigger of a house than it was. Our apartment was, I think, 1,200 square feet, and this house is 1,989 square feet. So just under 2,000 square feet. And it's 3 times more expensive because of the bigger AC unit, because of just the power, the electronics, all that stuff is a lot more to run a house. A house is a lot bigger, and it's just different than apartment. Apartments are also, with the electric bill, they're stacked together, and that can actually help save electricity costs because the way that they're sandwiched in between other units, it really cuts down on having the full exposure of light and wind and all that stuff to all 4 sides of the house. So housing is a lot different than apartment. So know the average electric bill that it's going to be. Know the lawn maintenance. Is there an HOA? Sometimes HOA will cover the lawn. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes you have pool maintenance that you may have. Are you buying a house with a pool? That's going to be an additional cost. That's going to be a cost of chemicals. That's going to be a higher water bill. That's going to be maintenance. That's going to be different things that you need to do to take care of the pool. So know all of those additional expenses that you're going to need. Know the total monthly cost of owning that house, and to really go into it with, all right, this is what we need. And I always suggest rounding up so that you are a little on the lower end, but it's important to round up so that you are pleasantly surprised when it's less than you expected. Number 5 is have an emergency fund. It is so important to have a solid emergency fund before you buy a house. And I'm not talking just $1,000 emergency fund. I'm talking 3 to 6 months worth of expenses for an emergency fund. I know so many people that will put all of their saving, all of their money into the down payment and the closing costs, and then have no money for saving after. And so like, it's okay, we'll grow it as we, as we get in the house and this and that, and we saved enough money, we're ready to buy the house. Well, do you have an emergency fund? No, you're not ready to buy a house. And I've had coworkers come to me and ask me these questions, and you can literally see just like the dreams leaving their body because they're so excited. They're like, all right, let's do it, we're ready. But they don't have an emergency fund. What happens if you move in and then the next week something happens? Now you're going to get an inspection. You're going to know the things that you kind of are good or bad, whatever, in the house, but you don't know something big could happen in the house that you didn't catch on the inspection, or the AC goes out. We live in South Florida. And for us, this is just an example. It could be a totally different example for different parts of the country. But for us, if our AC goes out, it's not just that it's hot in the house and it gets up to 90, 100 plus degrees in the house. It also causes mold because ACs down here are also dehumidifiers and they help prevent mold. So if we go a certain amount of time without an AC running in our house, we get mold. So that's an even bigger problem. So it's not just AC's convenience. AC is a necessity for our safety and our health to prevent mold. So make sure that you have an emergency fund ready in addition to your closing costs and down payment. Number 6 is to have a repair and furniture fund. Now, when we bought our house, we had a fund, I think it was like $3,000 to $4,000. And I was like, this is way more than we're going to need. Yeah, we needed it. There were so many little trips to Lowe's, little trips to Home Depot that we had to do when we first bought the house of, oh, you got to fix this. Oh, that thing, we need some paint touch up here. Oh, we need this. Oh, we need that. And it was mind-blowing of how much that added up. And then also furniture. There's furniture that you need to add pieces. Maybe some of your furniture in your old place doesn't really fit in this place, or it's a lot bigger. Now you got to fill rooms, and you got to figure out, okay, how are we going to make this work? Paint is honestly a lot more expensive than we thought. We only had to paint this room, my studio, and I think it was almost $100 to paint this. Like, I thought a can of paint was like 20 bucks. Nope, it's a lot more than you think, and you're going to need a lot more paint than you think you're going to need. So have a fund that you can pull from for those repairs, for furniture, for different upgrades that you want to do in your house. Number 7 is find a skilled realtor. Now, this one is tricky. We live in South Florida. We have so many friends that went into real estate. People just out of college, people in their 30s, people that are, older church friends, and so many friends that we could have called to buy this house from. And people got word that we were buying a house, and, oh, use me as a realtor. Oh, use my cousin. Oh, use my brother. Oh, use my husband. It's hard because it's personal and people want you to use their business. But we ended up going with a family friend of ours, And she's been a realtor for, I think, like 30 years here in South Florida. And I'm so, so, so thankful that we went with her, who's a skilled realtor, rather than someone that's brand new. And I know it sucks. I know that you want to help them. I know that they're just trying to get their feet wet and learn the process and start to make money. But there's so many times where I was so thankful that we went with her, because there's different situations that come up that they may need to go to bat for you, and they may need to fight for you, and they know how to do it. They have the experience, or they know when the other realtor is trying to pull something over on you, and they can call them out on it, or the mortgage broker is not getting stuff done, or whatever it is, and they can say, hey, this is the deal, this is what we need to do, and they can be firm and they can make it happen, and they're the bad guy and not you. And there's things that she was able to do for us that I didn't even know was a thing. And I was like, oh, you can do that? And she's like, heck yeah, we can do that. Heck yeah, we're going to get that taken off the list. Heck yeah, the seller's going to pay for that. Heck yeah, we're going to do this. And I was like, okay, you do you, girl. Keep on going. Keep on going. So having a skilled realtor, it may hurt other people's feelings, but it's really going to help you in the long run. And they're going to be able to go to bat for you and know what's right and what's wrong, because they have the experience. So find a skilled realtor, someone that you trust, someone that you can call and be real with and have those real conversations and be vulnerable with as well. Number 8 is know your non-negotiables. What are things in your house or in your future house that you want that are non-negotiables? Maybe you want 3 bedrooms. Maybe you want a walk-in closet. Maybe you want a soaker tub. Maybe you want, I don't know, a chef kitchen, or maybe you want a gas stove, or what are the things that you want that are non-negotiables for your house? Make a list, and you need to know what you can be flexible on and what you can't be flexible on. There were things that we wanted in a house that were on our list of likes, but they weren't priorities. They were like, hey, we can get this. This is awesome. Like a pool, for instance. We really wanted a house with a pool. We live in South Florida. It is so stinking hot here, and we really wanted a pool. Did we get a house with a pool? No. That was something that we had some wiggle room on. We were like, you know what? This is a like list, but it's not a must-have list. So know what is a must-have and what is a like, something that I would like to do, and really be firm on that. Be like, all right, you know what? We need to be flexible on this, but these we cannot be flexible. Number 9 is know the market and the value of the house that you're looking at. The market is going up. It's going up. It's crazy right now how high the market is. But the market goes up and down. And as you look at a property value, it's crazy to look at the graph. It kind of goes like this. And typically it trends upwards. But you need to know what the house is worth and what you're willing to pay for it. And say, you know what? This may be a little bit above market value, but it's something that I think is going to grow over time. I think the property value is going to go up. The school zones are good, and we value this property, and this is something that we're willing to pay a little bit more for. Or, hey, we're not paying over market value. Nope, no ifs, ands, and buts. And know what the house is worth, and know what the property is worth, know what the school zones are worth. We actually paid more for our house because of the school zones. If we go a quarter mile down the road, we're going to be in different school zones, and we would have saved about $50,000 for the same type of property house. But for us, school zones are really important, and making sure that our kids are in good schools is very, very high up on our list. We knew that we'd be having kids, and we're pregnant now. And so it's something that was really important to us. So know the property value and know what the house is worth. Number 10 is find a good inspector. Having a good inspector is so important. This is your property that you're investing a lot of money in. You're putting a big down payment. You're putting a lot of money into this house. So you want to make sure that it's good. Also, you want to make sure that the foundation, there's no foundation issues. You want to make sure that the AC isn't going to break right when you buy the house. You want to make sure that these things are good in your home and that you have an inspector that you can trust and that is going to find those nitty-gritty things. I remember when we had our inspection and I wanted the house so bad and I was just praying, don't find anything, don't find anything, don't find anything. But you know what? You can always use it to your advantage. If there are things that are wrong with the house, you can say, okay, we need these fixed prior to buying the house, or we need a credit on the house so that the seller pays for that upgrade or that mold inspection or the mold remediation or getting something repaired that should have been. Make sure they're pulling permits. Make sure things are done correctly if there were any upgrades done in the house. So having a good inspector, it kind of sucks because you're like, no, don't find anything too bad. I really want the house. I really love it. But you need to make sure that you're finding a good property that is going to be a good investment for you and not just a money pit, as much as it would suck to lose the house that you really wanted. Let's keep the conversation going. If you want to know ways that you can make money online so that you can put it towards saving your house, check out this video here. And if you want to see a video of a cost breakdown of apartment versus house and the cost comparison between this house and our previous apartment, full breakdown, real numbers, check out that video here.
No.